Welcome to On My Way to Wealth, the podcast where busy Gen Xers can learn financial tips as they navigate life on their way to wealth. And now, please join your host, Luis Rosa.
Hello, welcome to episode 81 of On My Way to Wealth. My name is Luis, and I'm your host. Today, I would like to talk to you about health, meaning wealth. Health is wealth. Oftentimes, we talk about wealth only in the material aspect of things. When I looked up in the Oxford Dictionary, the definition came out of wealth as an abundance of valuable possessions or money. The state of being rich, material prosperity, plentiful supplies of a particular resource, a plentiful supply of a particular desirable thing. And that is the one I want to focus on because I like to think that health is wealth. You know, it's no good for you to have abundance of wealth if you're not in a good state of health to enjoy it and share it and pass it forward, right? So I wanted to talk about some of those things that we can do to make sure that we're taking proper inventory of our actual health, including mental health, that can then help us continue on our way to wealth. Because we need to recharge the batteries, we need to be in a good state of mind, in a good place from a health standpoint in order to then be at our best and produce as much as we can and save and enjoy life. So one of the things that brought this about for me was because I was just looking at some headlines and I saw that a major corporation in the United States, Nike, gave its employees a week off just so that they can take a mental health break. And they're not the first ones to do this. I believe the app Bumble and Hootsuite have also done this and several others, where they've given their employees some time off just to say, hey, just unplug and just recharge the batteries, right? There's so much going on. You know, a lot of us have been going through this pandemic and had a lot of personal loss. You know, some of us lost jobs or family members' health, right? There's been so much economic uncertainty as a result, health uncertainty, and then other events in the news that you see here about, you know, the bombings and killings and all kinds of stuff, right? So sometimes that stuff takes a big toll. Now, why am I talking about this on a personal finance podcast? It's because I believe that in order to be at your best, you can't just focus on the material things. And obviously, yes, you want to accumulate money, you want to have the nice house, the nice cars, take the trips, whatever it is that's important to you on the material front. But at the same time, we also need to be at our best from a mental and physical health standpoint in order to be able to enjoy those things. You know, so that's one of the reasons I look at it that way. Because when I'm talking to my clients, especially those that are getting closer to being retired, you know, one of the things we look at is the quality of life. You know, we look at things like traveling and creating experiences for family members. And in order to do all those things, you have to be at your best. So I just wanted to go over a few things that, some of which I do myself, just to kind of stay at your best, you know, because sometimes you can't just burn the candle on both ends. You have to try to avoid burnout as much as you can so that you can then come back and then continue to produce as you just navigate your life on your way to wealth, right? So start thinking of your net worth in terms of something beyond numbers. In fact, you can have a separate net worth statement just for your health. So let's look at what are some of your health assets and what are some of your health liabilities. And then at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you have a positive health net worth, right? Obviously, we all need to decompress every once in a while. So yes, we might have the occasional drink or dessert, whatever. But at the end of the day, what you do consistently is what's going to have the most ultimate impact. You know, so we want to start creating or enhancing some very positive habits that are going to help you raise your health net worth. One of the things I recently did, going for in about a month right now, where my wife and I actually both did this. We are not looking at the news app on our phone. In fact, she uninstalled her news app. I think mine just I reduce the notification so I can't see it unless I touch it. And let me tell you, that has done a big difference in our lives. One, from the stress standpoint, because we're just not getting bombarded every single day with all the craziness that's going on in the world, you know, number one. And number two is giving us time to then reroute that time that I used to spend reading articles and doing something else like reading a book. Because sometimes, you can go down a rabbit hole, right? Start seeing this headline is going on. You click on that article, and then there's another one just like it. And you just start getting more and more of what you click on, right? And that could be very dangerous because it just sends you down that path. And, that's the way the algorithms work, right? For a lot of these things, where the more you click on something, the more of that you get. That's just the way it's designed. And you can spend a lot of time in that negative space, and I'm a firm believer that, you attract certain things based on what you're thinking about. And that could be good or bad, so we just unplug, right? We haven't looked at the news. Obviously, anything major that goes on, we're going to find out about it one way or the other, right? But I felt like we didn't need to be constantly inundated, right, with all these things happening. Life already is hard enough as it is on a daily basis, or it can be, right, stressful with work and kids, school, etc. And then to add to that, we just decided to take a break. So that was really helpful for me. So go on a news fast, and you can start small. Just say to yourself, you know what, this weekend coming up, I'm not going to open up a news app. I'm not going to look at the news on the TV, and just see what that does for you. And then also, what I find very helpful is replacing one habit with the other, because nature always fills a void. I always tell people, like, when it comes to finances, a lot of people, if you're not careful, you can end up making more money and still living paycheck to paycheck because you just find other things to spend the extra money on, right? So same thing with habits. So when I stop reading the news, now I read a book in the morning. So I've been reading books like Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, The Secret, just recently finished. Right now I'm reading a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. So I'll put a couple of links to those in the show notes. And yeah, it's been such a positive impact. Just reading, even if it's 10 pages a day. If you think about it, if you read 10 pages a day, you're going to read a book probably like in a month or so, depending on how big the book is, right? So maybe even more than a book a month. So that's pretty powerful. So I highly recommend that you try that. Another thing that I did was go on a social media cleanse. And it's a similar concept, right? Just the notifications on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, even some WhatsApp groups that I belong to as well, just shut all those off. If you feel like you want to go into them at some point, you can just click on it, but at least you don't have the desire to do so because you don't have a constant notification just pinging at you. In this world, there's so many things that want our attention constantly, right? And a lot of them originate from your phone. That has been a tremendous help. What else have I done with the time? I started looking at my journal. I have a journal. You can write a whole bunch of things down, especially your goals. This is one of the things I tell people, and it could be anything. It could be weight loss goals, financial goals, trips. If it's in your head, it's just a dream, right? Once you put it down to pen and paper, then it becomes a goal, especially if you give it a date. So start writing down your goals, And then what's cool about it, once they're written down, you can go back and revisit them and then start picturing yourself already having achieved those goals. You can combine that with like meditation. I do this 10-minute meditation every day, and I'll share that in the show notes as well. It's only 10 minutes, and I just do it every day. I read my journal, and then in that meditation, I envision achieving those goals that I wrote down. When you start focusing on something, the things, the people, the places, the opportunities have a way of starting to present themselves because you're focused on that. I'm sure a lot of you have heard, like, when you bought a car or you're thinking about buying a certain car, all of a sudden you see that car everywhere, right? It's just because now you're focused on it. So you can focus on your health and your wealth in the same manner, with the same effort and the same passion, and you're going to see a lot of results. So I highly recommend that you do that. Um, Another thing for people that work at their desks, if they're working from home, a lot of us have been working virtually, set a timer on your phone to get up, say every 50 minutes, just for 5 minutes, because I've noticed, like, I work from home a lot, especially when the pandemic first happened. And a lot of us were actually working even more than usual because now there was no commuting travel time. And a lot of us were eating at our desk, right? So be sure to take care of yourself. You don't want to be sitting down for too long. Put that alarm, 50 minutes, recurring, right? Every 50 minutes, alarm goes on, you get up. I actually have a little rebounder in my house. It's kind of like a little mini trampoline like the kids use in the backyards. And I just, from time to time, when the alarm hits, get up and just rebound for 5 minutes, get that blood flow going. It helps with the mind. It helps you get focused. And then, I read that if you do something like that, you break and then you come back for 50 minutes concentrated without looking at your phone or email, you're actually more productive, right, than trying to multitask. So think about that. And what else? Taking a break from social media, we talked about break from news, reading, journaling, meditating. Those are some of the stuff I do. I would love to hear what you guys are doing as well. I like music a lot too. That's the other thing, especially if you can get out there from time to time, just get some fresh air and sunlight. Put my headphones on, just play a couple of songs, go for a little walk. On the weekends, I do that a lot. Super helpful, and I really like it. Now, again, the reason I want to talk about this is because I want you to consider wealth as not just something that has to do with numbers. So think about your net worth statement. You have your assets on one side, it's everything you own, liabilities on the left side, everything you owe, and then the net worth is the end result. And in finances, you want your net worth to be positive and continue to grow over time. In health, let's do the same. Let's take a health net worth statement. So let's look at it. What could be an asset? All right, what could be an asset? An asset could be getting proper sleep. Your assets, take inventory. What are your assets right now? What are you doing right now for your health that's really good for you? Are you going on walks? Are you getting up every 50 minutes? Are you reading? Are you taking deep breaths? Did you take, a break from news or social media? Are you working out several times a week? Are you eating healthy, right? What are some of those assets? Now look at your liabilities. Obviously, we're all humans, right? So sometimes we get stressed out. We might drink, we might shop, we might overeat, etc. What are some of your liabilities? And then at the end of the day, are you doing more positive things than you are negative ones? Do you have a positive health net worth? I hope that you do. And if you don't, at least now you can take inventory, and maybe without adding more time to your day, you could just reroute some habits that you were doing before, like looking at the news, maybe read a little less than that, read more of a book, or walk more, or go out there, eat some good foods, get some sleep, listen to music. So I hope that some of you listening out there reach back out. Let me know what you guys do to decompress and create that positive health net worth. And health is wealth. All right. So thank you all for tuning in. If you like the show, give me, just leave a comment. If you're listening on YouTube, share it with your friends, leave a review on iTunes and so on. And as always, if you have any questions, and I'd like to hear what you guys are doing to decompress. And if you have a good book out there you want to recommend, anything like that, I'm always open to suggestions. I love learning new things. So feel free to reach out, Luis at onmywaytowealth.com. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to On My Way to Wealth. If you have any questions, please send me an email at luis at onmywaytowealth.com. The information provided here is for information and education purposes only. The opinions expressed herein are solely those of myself, unless otherwise specifically cited. Material presented is believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations are made by my firm or myself about other parties' information or accuracy or completeness. All information or ideas provided should be discussed in detail with a financial advisor, accountant, or legal counsel prior to implementation. Thank you.